About 12 years ago, I was an English teacher in Rome alongside a fiercely clever and vivacious American girl named Sarah. She moved to a little town north of Naples called Gaeta. I moved to London, Monaco, back to Rome, and then to Florence, and we hadn't seen each other since. But recently we reconnected, and she brought her partner and their 5-month-old baby to stay. Giacomo is an artist, and he took a scene from one of my videos and created a watercolor painting for me as a gift. Sarah and Giacomo each have a son from another marriage, and I found their love story a beautiful example of how sometimes a relationship or a desire for a certain type of life won't take shape as or when you imagine it will, but if you don't lose hope, you might just find everything you've been looking for when you least expect it.
Ci siamo conosciuti quasi 2 anni fa, almost 2 years ago, in my art gallery. She went into my shop with Giuseppe.
With my son.
With Giuseppe.
Who was little at the time, 4 years old.
Because you text me and said, I'm on my way, but I have short legs with me. And I said, what? And then I realized why.
Poi è entrata questa donna bellissima, altissima.
And I saw her and I said, whoa.
Well, no, you didn't see me right away because my son ran in first, and you started to play with my son.
And I said, hey, hi. I said, I sono Giuseppe. And okay. And then I saw you.
But aspetta un attimo, so you were going there to get a tattoo?
I was going for a consultation for a tattoo.
I see.
Yeah, and
because my shop was an art gallery and tattoo.
Ah, okay.
Tattoos pay the bills.
Right. He runs towards you.
Yeah.
So there was
Giuseppe.
this thing. So
did you know
my son is not.
Never.
No.
Ever seen.
Yeah, we've had so many strange coincidences.
Yeah. Thanks, Kylie. Thanks, Guido.
So I opened the door to the studio, and my son ran straight into Giacomo's arms as if they had met. And it's not that my son is shy, but this was still really unusual behavior for him. And they were sort of, roughhousing, and then Giacomo looked up at me, and I remember, and listen,
I realized exactly. God, when you start from the bottom. And look the feet.
No.
And you never saw because.
And I said because I was playing with a kid, and I said, "Whoa,
this is not normal. It goes so long."
I said, "Yeah."
I always tell people I ate all of my vegetables as a child, like every last vegetable, and I just threw it to me.
No.
So but like when our eyes met, it was like. It's the most cliche thing.
It was embarrassing for us.
I never would have believed it. If you would have told me the story, I would have told you were full prunes, as they say.
We were teenagers.
It was like time stopped, and like it was.
It
was like only. It was only us.
There were some doves. Singing.
All around. It's in the shop.
The stars were shining only for us.
Yeah.
And then I came back to get the actual tattoo without my son this time. And I remember, even if I look back now, at the time I was keeping a bit like a diary, like a 14-year-old girl. I was keeping a diary, and I went back and looked at it afterwards, and I wrote in my diary that I had never felt so warm and loved and cared for.
While
someone was bludgeoning my flesh.
That was so
we were
natural.
Like singing together.
Yeah, singing together, natural. We were.
It was.
We were the same. At same level of. About.
Everything.
Everything. Yeah. Yes.
And perhaps we should say here. So then, and you both were ending relationships that were not.
Neither of us were in a place to start a new relationship. Really.
No, exactly.
It would have been like one of those things where when you think with your head, is this a good time? The answer would have been. No.
No, the best thing happens to you exactly when you don't care about anything, or you are not looking for something specific. like this.
And then I left.
I know.
I went back to the United States.
You left. Yeah, you left. Yeah.
Vediamo un attimo il tatuaggio. This is so this and the meaning behind it is
But we have just a little, come dire, una parentesi.
Sì.
She came to my studio with a perfect Italian accent.
Yes.
I said, ok. Hi, ciao, sono Sara. Vorrei tatuarmi, vorrei fare un tatuaggio di un ramoscello di olivo. And I said, are you from Itri? Itri is nearby
If you've
Gaeta.
ever heard of like Gaeta olives, they're actually not from Gaeta. They're from
No.
Another Gaeta controversy.
No, because the Gaeta field, the Gaeta.
It's the olive scandal of Gaeta.
Yeah, Gaeta was the docks, was the Portugal, and I said,
It's not in Tuscany.
sì, io dissi,
Scandals coming out.
ho detto, tu mi chiedi un tatuaggio col ramo d'olivo, ho detto, ma sei di Itri, là producono le olive.
Well, that would
Gaeta,
be so
le olive di Gaeta
stupid. That would be like if you're from
era il porto di Gaeta.
Yeah.
No, ma era il porto di Gaeta.
So
Yeah.
you were saying are
Okay.
from Itri.
Yeah. I said,
And I wasn't. The end. That was it.
I said,
So-
are you from Italy? No, sono
You're
americana.
from
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
I'm from Virginia, actually.
Yeah.
But
The phone
then-
says Pennsylvania.
It does, because it doesn't matter. Anyways, it's an unimportant detail. What's the
I
question?
think we should add that Sarah speaks incredible Italian.
Yeah,
So you
beautiful.
Almost as good as
No
that.
accent,
Come
no,
on, no,
no.
much better than me. You should have. So you were in love with.
No, I love your accent. You speak so well in Italian, and I heard in your.
We're not talking about me. I'm saying.
I know, but I just
Okay,
said
wait,
it before.
she's asking why did you fall in love with me in that moment?
Oh.
And it was
E c'aveva un chilometro
It was
di
for
gamma.
you, so best subjunctive.
Well, it was in summer.
honestly
It was
that
shorts,
was part of it.
and
But
I saw her. I said,
it was because
Hey.
did you say because I was wearing shorts?
shorts and your
Your
top.
legs finished like
And
after
I-
you got
Yeah,
headache
yeah,
by
exactly.
doing
My neck was.
All right,
and
it's
her-
like, enough of this.
finish.
No,
Hey, let me tell you the truth. It was a beautiful journey all along your feet until your your face, your eyes.
well-
It's beautiful.
Also, that he saw that she was a beautiful mother, probably as well. No.
well, gosh, listen, for me,
I saw her relationship with Giuseppe, and I said to myself, a beautiful mother, and his behavior, your education, and everything was for me. Just like fresh air. When you open the window and then the fresh air comes into your life, it was exactly like this.
that was nice. Thank you. For me, it was like, and I don't really know how to put this into words, but it was like I was looking at myself for the first time. I saw myself reflected in him. I saw someone who I had seen so many times before, somewhen, and
Yeah.
but in a body that I had, or a face that I didn't really know or recognize. I don't know how to explain it other than that. It was
So are you similar? Are you a similar?
not in the way that
Familiar.
Yes, it was someone that I have known for a long time that I had never met before.
When I met her, I feel
That's something that feels like you've lived another life.
Yes, exactly,
In which
precisely.
these persons
Right.
are just
Exactly.
the reincarnation.
When I-
Exactly
when I-
what I felt
and
with
I
her.
mean, truly, I have goosebumps just talking about it because
chicken
it
skin.
was chicken skin.
When I look the chicken,
Quello di Miami.
look the chicken.
That's
Yeah.
romantic that way, but yeah, no, truly, I mean,
When I met her-
when our eyes locked, it was. I
I
mean,
know you.
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Just like when you had a knot here, you're
And I mean,
unable to express.
I even recall my son being like,
No,
hello?
Giuseppe was around somewhere else, and
we were like,
no, it's okay. Yeah, but I felt that time when exactly when you came home for a long time, and this is was a when I saw her, when I look into her eyes, was the first feeling in
You're
my
right. It was
in
like
my heart.
It was like walking into your home.
Yeah, walking to your home, and I felt safe, and I still feel safe all day.
Wow.
In my
And
life.
you haven't ever met her before.
Never.
Amazing.
And I always had this sort of call to go to Gaeta all the time. I even have Gaeta, the outline of Gaeta, tattooed on my ribs on this side,
Which I fixed it.
which you fixed because it was a bad tattoo.
And the map was not
Come on.
No, but because I had this, and I was saying to Kylie as well, I sort of had this sort of siren call that was like constantly, it was like an alarm going off in my head.
Yeah, it was the same for me for Ireland.
And I couldn't explain why I had to be there specifically.
Do you believe in destiny? This was destiny?
I do now. It was not something that I ever believed in until now.
So your mind, your subconscious, your whatever you have, was telling, I need to go to Gaeta.
Yeah.
And your first relationship was from Gaeta.
Yeah, it was.
But was from Gaeta.
It was the same for me.
It was. I
It was
had
the same for
I had
me.
this draw to Gaeta, and then I was in Gaeta by myself. I was by myself. I left Rome. I went to Gaeta, and I lived there by myself. And just as time went on, I met people, and I met someone, and I had a relationship, and then at a certain point, your logic starts to take over because society always tells you, well, these things aren't real, and it's in the movies, it's Hollywood, and you fall for it for a while as you feel the clock is ticking, and your life is getting older, and your career is developing, and suddenly it's like, okay, well, this isn't what I imagined it would be, but maybe this is all that there is. And
I think that's a question many people ask themselves.
But what was your
yeah.
expectation for Gaeta?
Sorry?
What was your expectation for Gaeta compared to your career? Oh.
Well, I actually kept working in Rome at the time because obviously in Gaeta, if you're not like a fishmonger or like there's not a whole lot.
Or a super artist.
Or a super artist, well, but
Wait, you're not a fishmonger?
Yeah.
You've got the
Well,
there's the other Gaeta scandal.
well, actually, I am the.
I'm the Captain Fee.
Captain Findus.
Surprise. Rome is easy to live in as an expat, right? There's lots of other expats you can be.
It's a very international.
It is. It's an international environment, and I remember I wanted to get away from the chaos of the city, but I also wanted to prove myself to myself.
Yeah.
Am I real? Can I really do this? Can I really create a life for myself?
You and I
alone?
are so aligned.
But what?
I'm so problematic.
Well, I need to prove it to myself.
Sorry, I'm rude. Why from Virginia you wanted to go to Italy? And why the hell you wanted to go to Gaeta?
And tell me why I always wanted to be
question
in
that I get.
Ireland. I always wanted to be in Ireland, and not in Italy.
Well, and guess where my family's from?
Not in Italy.
Because you love beer. I understand.
No.
that.
I always said a deep feeling with the land, and Scotland too, but I don't know. I don't know why.
But how I ended up in Gaeta is basically that I studied language in school. Originally, I did Spanish. I did Latin languages, so I did Spanish, Italian, French, and Portuguese officially.
Mm-hmm.
I was living in Spain for a while, and then I ended up coming over to Italy. I liked Italy more, stayed.
Why? No, I'm joking.
You're joking, but no, honestly,
No,
every
no.
Italian asks.
No, no,
Every
no.
Italian asks. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Spain is much better. It's more.
So
It's
I
more,
lived in two
li-
places in Spain. I lived in Andalusia and I lived in Barcelona.
No.
I hated Barcelona. It was too modern for me, just taste-wise. It was not my vibe.
Yeah.
Also,
It's so live. It's full of opportunity.
yeah, too live, too full of opportunity.
Okay, that's America.
For
That's
me.
America. Go back to America.
Exactly.
Okay,
What's
okay.
the point, right? It's sort of a European metropolis.
But it depends what you're looking for exactly.
Amore, can
in
I
what-
eat your pasta?
I lived in Rome for a while. I just so happened to have sort of a career situation that let me be free to sort of move about wherever I wanted. And I had traveled to Gaeta to visit a friend of mine who I'd met in Rome. And I recall that when I was on the train, when you go to Gaeta on the train, I don't know if you've ever been.
No.
Okay, so you take
Like
the train
you.
and you go through a tunnel, and then when you come out of the tunnel, it's like, and you see in front of you
Yeah.
the sea, and
This
the-
gulf, and exactly when you step inside the light,
There's you
And
can
it
see
explodes.
Monte
it explodes. Yeah, in front of
and you
you.
can see the castle and like the old town, just resting on the
magical
sea, like
in a
whale
sort of
coming
way.
through the waves. And,
It's magical.
and it's a beautiful thing to see, but there was something more about it for me. And I remember asking whoever I was with at the time, who I don't recall, I said, where is that? And it was like, oh, well, that's Gaeta. And I was like, I have to go. That's where I'm supposed to go, And years later, I didn't go at that time. I think I was not going to Gaeta. I was going to Napoli or something. But
Yeah, but after more than 10 years.
yeah, I didn't go back and actually visit Gaeta for several years after that.
More.
It's
Yeah.
the same thing for you for Florence.
Me, yeah.
Really?
You've been called to Florence,
Yeah.
to Italy, to Europe,
Really?
to Italy, then to Florence. She was in Florence when she was 24.
Oh.
And then she came back later.
No,
And-
amore, prima. I was in Florence when I was 21.
Sorry.
Really? Yeah.
I don't know.
Wow.
Before that, Barcelona. actually.
Oh yeah.
So she somehow, and then she ended back to Florence. And somehow,
Oh my
it's
god.
where- so it's I don't know how you can explain it.
Yeah, but it was just like, I was like, why should I move after dopo tutti gli anni a Roma, poi in Costiera Amalfitana, and then I was like, why should I go back to Florence? I
And
know
it's a
Florence.
very close city.
I know
It's
exactly.
very
Yeah.
difficult city.
Yeah.
Florence, if you are a foreigner. Obviously, maybe for her it's easier because
Oh, really?
it's beautiful, but
Well, it doesn't hurt.
that
Definitely
doesn't harm. Doesn't
Yeah.
harm. But doesn't harm. But it's always a very difficult, very small, very close. And
Yeah, but
so
that just
why?
makes people like Kylie and me
Yeah.
really want to dig in more.
Yeah. You wanna?
Red Rock to Bull, it's like, most people, this Florence is too close for most people. It's like,
Not for me.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
It looks like a video game.
The truth is that I was like circling Guido and never meeting him, never, and then
We met in the right moment because if I had met her before, I wasn't ready. She wasn't ready. I don't know if we're ready now, but we're doing.
No,
we're
you
managing somehow.
no, but you never know.
Willing to manage.
but we had the same feeling, like you said, of home. And
Yeah.
people think that being in love is just about wanting to kiss someone, and
Yeah.
it's also, like you said, it's very sexy to feel so at home with someone that you
Exactly.
just met an hour ago, no?
Yeah, and look,
Well, okay, so
we would
met.
separate
Yeah,
for
yeah.
4 months.
Yeah, when I went back to the States,
It was
so I
almost
recall,
Christmas
as
when
I
you
was
went back.
as I was leaving, I passed in
Yeah.
front of your studio with the car,
Yeah.
and you were standing outside, and I like didn't want to be
Something
separated,
that
and
they-
I was like,
No, something,
in the car, and he turned to look at me, and I was
something that day told me, go in front of your.
I should stay in front of
Yeah,
my studio like
yeah, in front like this. And I was so.
And then my pose.
I was thinking,
I'm the strong one.
what am I supposed to go there?
Yeah.
Sarah's driving past me.
Here.
Yeah, like with the skirt bringing Pepsi.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Oh, you know what? Oh my god! Look at me.
yeah.
Anyway,
This glass is so heavy.
so you drive past and what?
and like I don't.
I was
know, it
outside
so
for
weird.
some
Yeah,
reason.
You were outside and
With my maybe with
or
Valentina,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was hanging out outside.
And yeah, it was like
You
I don't know. It was like have you ever seen the Disney Pocahontas when like the leaves in the breeze
Yes.
like blow by and she's like, it was like that. It was
and I
so
saw
weird.
her, and she was beautiful.
Well,
But,
and we started to exchange music because we're both
but we
musicians.
started with a lot of respect.
Oh yeah, no, we there was no
No, nothing beside.
we wanted to build a friendship.
Yeah,
and it was I mean
exactly.
genuinely like friendship vibes only permitted. You know,
Exactly.
we both had complicated situations. We wanted to be respectful to everybody involved.
You have children, so
We have children from previous relationships, and so. But I mean, gosh, our friendship grew so quickly,
yeah.
and so genuinely. And
go back in time when you were when you're a teenager, just like a teenager, and you enjoyed that moment, you enjoyed the happiness, that feeling, and was so, I don't know. She brings me into my life a lot of light and sunny days, which I don't remember it at all at time.
Well, and I remember thinking in the past, if I had to start a new relationship,
yeah, you just said again,
so much work to like bring them up to speed with all the things I've been through in my life, all of the travels, all of the heartbreak, all of the joys, all of the pains. I had lived a full life already, I felt, and I just sharing that with someone else felt like starting from scratch, from the...
Because you build up all your life, the actual life,
It just sounded like, to me, it sounded like such an exhausting task, and instead, I felt like I didn't even have to tell him anything. It was like he already knew.
Yeah.
And, maybe I filled in the details, but
I think a lot of people will find that quite... hopeful, because that's the greatest fear. I think most people say, I don't want to start all over again.
Look,
and I don't want to open myself up all over again.
But you know what I say to that? Thank God I did. Thank God I was open to that. Because
look,
I would have missed out on the most natural and easy relationship that, I never would have imagined it would have been so easy.
For me, I was always looking for this kind of relationship. I grew up with my parents, and I saw them so in love until the last day. And they taught me exactly how love works and how the little things can change your life every day, in every minute, in every instant. And that's the reason behind all this story. I still love her more and more every day, because she turned my life in one of the most beautiful fairy tales I ever seen, and I know, probably sounds so, I don't know, silly, but
it sounds what so many people hope exists out there, and at a certain point many people think, forse non esiste.
I had a lot of bad relationship before, and I said to myself, probably the love works in this way. Who knows?
Okay, so you came from this, sort of idyllic situation.
Yeah, but I had my mom and my dad. They love each other.
Well, they met how old were your parents when they met? Like 12.
11.
And they were together from that age on.
Yeah.
Now, I had the opposite situation. I did not have a good model of love at home. And so it took me a lot of years of sort of, my question was always, okay, well, I knew that wasn't what I wanted in a man. So what did I want in a man?
Yeah.
And it took a lot of trial and error for me to find that. And that's why I also am so grateful to my past relationships, but also grateful for the journey, and grateful for, because as we were saying earlier in the kitchen, those relationships were all part of creating sort of the tapestry that made this relationship so successful and beautiful.
The difference now, and this thing, I truly believe in this thing. You know exactly now what you don't want anymore in your life. You know what you don't want. No, because in Italian we say io so che cosa voglio. No, io so che cosa non voglio più.
Sì.
It's different.
Sì.
E forse mi capisci molto di più.
May I ask though, I think a lot of people would say, okay, but at what point, like, were you both just always optimistic and hopeful before, or had you had periods of feeling cynicism? Because people might be asking and saying, okay, in order to find a relationship like you found,
at the time, you don't really know, do you?
Yeah.
You know, I think I spent a lot of years saying, this is good enough. This is good enough. This is good enough. You know, I had witnessed sort of an abusive relationship in my parents growing up. And, you know, I had gotten into a relationship that was kind and respectful and good. But I always felt that it was not right.
Right.
And to this day, I have maybe the better way to word it would be to say, you know, I'm a tenacious person. I'm somebody who's always looked for excitement and adventure, and but also sort of belonging, and I just had never found a connect. You know, when you watch the movies or when you think about love, you think about this, you know, grand connection that you're going to make with somebody, and I just. As much as I had, you know, love for people in my previous relationships, it just was never as exciting as I had imagined it would be.
Right.
And not in a way of like, you know, oh, I want drama, and I want, you know, I want there to be, you know, fights and then making up, and then, you know, I was never really, I didn't want that exactly. I don't know, this is so hard to find the words. You take over for a while.
I was always looking for someone who had the empathy in a relationship, the respect.
I found my words. My turn now.
if you had
he lost his words for this reason.
Bravo, vedi?
All right, you drink. Hold on, I'm gonna lose my.
Okay.
I have to go.
We'll see you later. Okay.
Trying the salmon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So.
Brava. Complimenti, brava.
In my previous relationships, you know, I had sort of found what I wasn't looking for.
Yeah.
You know, I had such a good model of like what not to do that I had found something that wasn't that.
Right.
And I felt you know all right with that, but I never felt great. And it turns out that what I was missing was that I needed someone who was able to mirror my same energy and balance me out. Sort of the concept of yin and yang, right? You need somebody who I won't speak for anybody else. I needed somebody who was able to match me on that level. And I think that's sort of the same thing that you were saying as well, only, you know, referencing, you know, empathy, and because it's more than just empathy and respect. It's all of the things that you were looking for in a relationship. And, you know, we were looking for.
I never found someone who respect me at 100%. That's why I always.
I'm sorry I interrupted you back then.
No.
By the way.
No.
Speaking of respect.
Okay. No. But that's the reason why when I met her and when I start to know her exactly day by day, I was so in love in every minute because she's so kind, she's so respectful, she's so. I don't know. I can tell.
Well, like, I
needed,
you know, for me, respect and empathy come naturally. That's part of who I am, and what I needed.
Not, believe me, it's not naturally for
for everyone.
to these modern times. You know.
Yeah. No, but like what I needed was somebody who could balance me out. You know, I'm so much of a go-getter sometimes that I need somebody to grab the reins and say, "I'm driving now. Sit down." You know, and
I'm at your pasta now, so bye.
Hey, where'd my plate go?
Yeah, we've got another course coming. Yeah.
Shoot. No, but it's true. It's that, you know, I'm so headstrong that I need somebody to balance me out that way. And I was just like things that I had found so many relationships that were all right. But I just couldn't. I felt unsettled.
Like, and a lot of people would say, yeah, I've experienced that. It's a honeymoon period. But you guys have been through a pregnancy and you have a 5-month-old baby sleeping in the room over there. So this is a testament to your connection, your respect for each other, your ability to go through.
Compare your first son.
Okay, we've lived 40 years of marriage in 1 year for sure.
Yeah.
We got together, we're managing co-parenting, both of us individually. Managing the cohesion of a new family with our 2 boys from previous relationships. Parenting is never easy at any stage in general, especially not in our current situation. Pregnancy, troubles in the pregnancy. Then when our son was born, less than a week after coming home from the hospital, he had to be taken by emergency to the hospital in Rome because he contracted meningitis. And he was in the hospital for 10 days.
Now,
right?
one week, almost 10 days, but he's
which fortunately made a full recovery and is doing very well, but that was obviously stressful.
He's a Parisi.
Yeah,
he never give up.
He's a top little guy.
Never give up.
And now the closing of your gallery as well.
I don't care. No. I
don't care.
I don't care. No, some people, when they close one chapter in their life, they probably it's a human thing. They felt so uncomfortable. They felt very sad. When I start to thinking about closing my shop, it was for a right for a real goal, a right goal. Because I don't know, because I had her and she said to me, "Don't worry, I get you,"
It's so true though that I think just as like relationship advice as well. I think that one of the things that sort of led to us being together, being successful, having
I never felt the fear, the fear to be
was just opening ourselves up to the fear of what if it went wrong, because there was a lot at stake, and I know a lot of people certainly have commented that we were irresponsible.
Yeah, you're crazy. You're responsible. You have 3 kids.
You're leaving these relationships. There are children involved. It could be a huge mistake. You could harm other people who are involved in your life, especially your children, who are obviously our top priority.
Yeah,
but
definitely yes.
But being open to closing chapters that needed to be closed, even though we didn't know what was coming next. Being open to working together on building a new life, and being open to doing that with each other, regardless of what sort of obstacles were thrown in the way, was a key part to where we are now.
Exactly.
And maybe it's not perfect, and maybe it's not, I don't know, Pinterest worthy. But we're certainly, I'll speak for myself. I'm certainly the happiest I've ever been. And I don't regret anything that we've done, and our children are flourishing. And,
I will do the same choices for other 10,000 lives.
Well, and it's the same concept of, you need to put on your oxygen mask before you put anybody else's oxygen mask on. And by finally making the choice to put my own oxygen mask on,
I know.
We've been able to help everybody around.
Probably
us as well.
I'll sound very romantic, but this is my philosophy. I put my heart and my soul, all my life, in her hands. And she turns exactly in what I always dream of, what I always wanted to be.
When you see what's right, and suddenly you have confirmation that what you have isn't right. What do you do? What do you do? Do you stay in what you know isn't right and just wait for unhappiness to creep in and wait for mistakes to be made that maybe would be worse? Or do you, I hate this phrase, man up? Do you, find your courage and say the hard truth and start over? You know,
I think love is the
key.
antithesis of fear, isn't it?
My mom teach me these things for all my life since she left. She said to me, everything you do in your life, do it with your love, with your passion, even if you have to take care of this flower here. Love this flower, because you can get wrong at all. Non ti puoi sbagliare, no? Non puoi sbagliare. And believe me, I think this is the most beautiful and real important things in my life which matter now. And with her I can reach the top of the world now.
Yeah. But I think there's such a freedom in knowing that it actually doesn't matter what happens with your job, with where you live, with what your health or anything, because if you have that person who gives you that feeling of,
and that's my wish for everybody.
Then but not everyone, or I would argue perhaps not many people have that in a lifetime. And I wish everyone could have that person that, like you are to each other, who makes you feel like you just said before, Giacomo. You know, I don't care about my gallery closing because I have her, and so that's end of one chapter, and now this is the start of it.
No, she gave to me all the strength that she gave to me all the strength that I needed at the time, and she's still doing.
You're dead on, though. It's so true. You hit the nail on the head. I mean, you know, it puts everything into perspective, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, you meet somebody and suddenly that fear goes away, and you just realize that, like, oh, everything I've been worrying about is not important at all.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Sometimes you take
it's like,
care.
Why was I even worrying about that? That was so silly.
Yeah. Or it's like what you don't have to be so fixated on the future, because you're like, whatever comes, we'll deal with it together.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And,
yeah.
And that's definitely where we're at right now. We're definitely at a point of, you know.
And that's the
like, let's just do it and see
and
what
that's
happens.
That's why my parents taught me for all the time, just exactly what Kylie said. When you're happy, it's easy being together. But when you have a lot of troubles.
Do you remember when Adrian was in the hospital and like you and I would come together in the evening because of hospital rules? We were not able to spend the night in the hospital with the baby, so we would have to leave.
We find each other in the elevator after we leave him in the hospital,
and we would just embrace and hold each other for the whole ride down in the elevator.
We maintain.
The elevator is probably an accurate term.
Abbiamo mantenuto fino alla fine.
Yeah. And we would hold it together until the elevator doors would close, and then we would just sort of collapse into one another.
God.
And then, you know, in the evening, as much as we were emotionally destroyed, we were still able to.
You have to find your relationship every night in the bed, and I mean, not in that way. I mean. You have to find yourself at night after all.
You have to find the ground.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the
after
ground.
All the craziness
you have to feel, you know, the earth, and you have to feel your partner. You have to hold so tight your partner, because I always found her right in front of me, beside me, all around me. And I never felt so, probably I repeat myself, I never felt so secure, even in that time when it was so tough. With Adrian,
especially in times when it's hard to find your footing.
Yeah, it was hard, but you were so great.
Very easy.
Thanks.
Because, you know, it's, even sometimes people might have these feelings you describe with someone, but it's not reciprocated.
No,
so the chances that you can both be in the same point in your lives where you're ready for each other.
Kylie, you have one chance in your life.
Mm-hmm.
For me, you have one chance. And you know, probably you know better than me, that kind of train pass one time in your life. and you have to feel that moment. If you don't catch it, you're lost.
You know, this is exactly what Guido said when we met.
Sorry, no, maybe not that. No, maybe not.
We're seeing the video. So.
Quindi Giacomo, tu sei nato a Napoli, giusto?
Sono nato a Napoli 37 anni fa e per tutta la vita ho sempre fatto questo, soprattutto grazie poi alla mia famiglia che mi ha sempre supportato e questo lo devo in particolar modo a mia madre, che è stata lei, come dire, la fautrice di tutto, è stata...
E da bambino lei cosa ti diceva? Because many parents can say, it's a hard life being an artist, è una strada complessa.
My dad used to say constantly, if you want to be an artist, you probably should know it's very tough being an artist because you can even make money. They were so good to tell me the truth and at the same time support me and give me all the love that I need at time. So I was very lucky. I had two beautiful parents. I know.
Posso dire, I think there might be some people who would say, they see this guy from Naples with tattoos and earrings, and then I see some of your work. It's very sensual and beautiful and even bucolic, like a lot of the pieces, Sarah, that you showed me. And complimenti, because you succeeded certainly last night when you arrived and presented me with that painting, and I felt my whole body covered in goosebumps. I wanted, mi veniva da piangere perché you captured a feeling of a place you'd never been to before. How do you approach the challenges of making art as to provide for a family,
Yeah, now I have to say everything is possible thanks to my wife, because she supports me. She really take care of other little things, and from outside it looks very easy. It's simple. Not isn't. Sometimes I felt, on the wrong path, and that's why I take this hard decision to close the shop, and it was thanks to her, because she supports me a lot in every decision that she said to me. Don't worry, we're getting through, and we can. Come hai detto? Mi hai detto ce la facciamo, non ti preoccupare.
It's tough making art and trying to sell it and
That's
trying to also make sure that you're not selling your soul, you're doing something that you believe in.
Assolutamente.
But you have to have someone who understands that.
Well, I could certainly, stomp my feet and demand that Giacomo go work in a bank. But Giacomo working in a bank isn't Giacomo. Giacomo is Giacomo when he's painting. I don't want any other kind of Giacomo. I want Giacomo painting. That's the true essence of who he really is, and that's who I fell in love with. So why would I demand he be anything other than what he is?
It's true. A lot of the time people fall in love and they're like, okay, and now can you just change this part of your personality? Because I'd like to live an easier life. Alla fine ci lamentiamo sempre del mondo digitale, però in questi giorni ci dà la possibilità di lavorare da remoto, stare un po' più con la famiglia,
questo
con i bambini,
mi permette, sì.
e vendere le cose come voi,
su Etsy, sul sito Etsy, sì, ma...
So, one of the things I was super impressed with, you mentioned briefly that you wrote a children's book, Sara, and you were illustrating.
Yeah, we have this project.
A fish out of water. I love.
Yeah.
I mean,
I always looking for being an illustrator for children books, and she said to me, "Oh, but I love to write, to put it down something." Yeah. One day comes to pop out of my mind this this title, "Fish Out of Water." It's exactly like I always felt. I'm a fish out of water, and yeah, because I always looking for my my home, and at the end I found my real casa just with her, and I can be everywhere with my family. Non sono soddisfatto, ok, di questo quadro, perché vorrei fare di più, volevo mettere, volevo spingermi di più.
So I will put out a video and sometimes I'll be like, oh, sometimes, ogni settimana, I'm like, avrei potuto fare meglio, no? But then I'd also think, but it's so good for me as a creative, because I then see people's reactions and it teaches me that, oh, Kylie, even if you have just produced this in 7 days, it still emotionally affected someone, and this gives you energy that you put into your next work.
Hey, I saw some of your videos, and I to admit, yeah, they're great. They work so well. That's why I really I admire you when your works, and I said myself, probably she's exactly like me, and probably you have the same problem like me. I said, well, you'll never be satisfied.
Because first I think maybe for 10 years, maybe even more, 12, 15, I was working for free,
Yeah.
just doing, not only not making money, but spending money, like I'm sure you spend on the La Carta, all the things, the tools, and I was spending, and so much, it's so hard to keep going when non solo non guadagni, ma you're taking time and you're thinking, should I do something else that even is because
sometimes when you're a creator,
10 years is a long time to work for free.
Too much.
But in the end, I just said, no, I've got this feeling in my heart that someday soon I'm going to find the community, and I don't want to be famous, but I'm going to find the people who this work speaks to, and finalmente I feel like I'm arriving at this point now.
Yeah.
Però, mamma mia, ho messo tantissimo.
Lo so. Si vede.
The strength that you and Sarah have together, and seeing your love for your children. This is the key, because you can sell 1 million paintings, but if you don't have that balance.
Exactly what really matters in your life, the money or that kind of richness.
Yeah.
I prefer being a normal person, a normal man, and a good father and a good husband. Yeah. But just like you said, it's behind every man there's a beautiful and a huge woman, a very, very, she's amazing.
Thank you so much for watching. Thank you very much to my patrons who support this channel. Some of you might be interested in purchasing your own watercolor painting from Giacomo. I'll put the details for his Etsy page in the description box below, and also in a comment below. And I'm sure he would love to create a scene from somewhere in Italy for you if you just write to him and tell him what you would like. Thank you again for tuning in, and I will see you next episode. Alla prossima.